sort of initiated. We were able to apply, I believe, on Wednesday the 7th via our bank in that afternoon. Our bank said that we were taken care of as far as they were concerned the next day, and they promised to get back to us in 3 to 4 business days with an update on that. And we have yet to hear back. I actually called my bank today asking for an update, given that it's past that time frame, and they promised to call back, and we didn't hear anything. So it's challenging. Eventually, we're going to be faced with some really difficult problems because there's just not enough revenue coming in to pay the bills. And so anyways, I'm sure you have other questions to ask.
Now, I understand that the payroll protection, is it your understanding that they're now out of money, that $300 million?
Yeah, so actually I talked to our CPA, I think that was actually last Friday, and she told me to brace for impact because she thought at that point they were probably out of money. So here we stand, and it sounds like they're out of money. There's been talk of adding money into that program. Who knows? It was part of our panic and our frustration, to put it politely, with our bank when the 3rd, we knew we had to get our application in as soon as possible because $250 billion or whatever they had offered to the program sounds like a lot, but when you're talking about hundreds of thousands, maybe more, of small businesses desperate for money across the country, that money is going to be gobbled up quite quickly. And while we only need a small portion of that, we applied for just over $60,000. If the money's gone, it doesn't matter how much you apply for, right?
So at this point, Michael, do you have any optimism?
In the PPP program?
I mean, just in keeping your business afloat.
That's a fairly loaded question, but a correct one. I know that we'll make it through April. It's May that concerns me. Like any other business, we still have to pay our commercial rent, even though we've been given what I would define as a slight discount. We've got that bill coming. We've got our labor that we're trying to pay to keep our guys working, because not only do we care about them, but without labor, you have no business. We had quite a bit of savings, we felt, for a rainy day. Unfortunately, we're faced with a storm, and that money is running out quickly. So my optimism level, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give it a 3.
Wow. It's hard for any of us. I mean, none of us could have anticipated the fallout, right?
Quite true. I've used perhaps an inappropriate term, but you can't have your cake and eat it too has been my concern in terms of the government shutdown. I'm not trying to downplay the seriousness of people's lives, but at the same time, you can't just shut down businesses without a better plan in place to help them. And obviously, a government program failed completely. I still haven't heard back. And now we've got a second program where they tried to privatize it more without enough incentive for those banks. I think the banks were either unwilling or perhaps unable to help those businesses. And if you're not directly affected by this, you will be soon, because as businesses start to close up shop, and I know several that have in our industry, those are lost jobs, and it's going to be a tough hill to climb for all of us soon.
Give us a little rundown about what your business is, Michael. What do you do? What do you provide for
Sure.
people?
Yeah, well, we have several avenues, but the main thing we do is we're a packer and shipper. So if you have a large, fragile, or expensive item, or perhaps you just have a disability so that you can't pack something yourself, we will arrive at your residence or commercial location. We will collect whatever item that is, artwork, grandfather clocks, credenzas, bring it back to our facility, professionally pack it appropriately so that we can ship it to wherever it needs to go, whether domestically or internationally, and get it there safely. Initially, we were optimistic that that may help us because people were unable to go out themselves, and maybe they would use our services. Despite the many measures we've put in place to try and ensure the safety of both our employees and our customers, it just hasn't happened. I'm not sure if it's because the money isn't there or because people are concerned, but we've got a few little jobs here and there, but it's simply not enough. So.
Wow. Well, where do you go right now?
The plan is just to hold on as long as we can. There is really no plan past a day at a time. I know that's such a cliche, but it is true. We know we can make it to tomorrow and the next day, and that's the hope that you hold on to. Um, I know that I'm nobody special. I just represent, though, a large group of businesses in this country that are desperate, and you have to hope and imagine that they will have to do something to help us. Um, and that's what I'm hanging my hat on, I guess. And I know that I'm not the only one.
Michael, is there anything else that you want to say that pertains to this issue that's going on with the payroll protection?
Yeah, well, I've got lots to say, but I guess the only thing that's perhaps relevant is I think that we have been very short-sighted with the measures that we've taken. And while I do understand the necessity for them, I think that there is not a lot of plan for the future, and every day that these shutdowns continue is going to cause tremendous pain for people and businesses. And I'm no doctor or expert in terms of mental health or other things, but I think if you think we can continue this much longer and not face repercussions that would probably outweigh the Great Recession, you're being ignorant.
Wow, some powerful words there, Michael. Thank you so much for sharing.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Mission, and I hope that we can, all get some help soon.
Me too. Well, thank you so much for your time, and good luck, and stay safe and healthy.
All right, thank you. Same
Bye.
to you.